Before we start, let's talk about Wombat Wisdom, the book behind Brooke.
Shut your holes, because this is the cutest book ever. Try not to work so hard you fall asleep into your dinner. It isn't worth it.
That's some wise words right there.
Wombat Wisdom. Welcome to Not So PG. I'm Brooke Blurton. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm Matty Mills. My pronouns are he and him. And before we start, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record this podcast. And for me, that's the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
And for me, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Let's get into it. Okay. I love how we pause.
I was letting you have that moment.
Oh, well, I thought the let's get into it was going to be both of us, but that's okay. I'll have the moment. I took it.
Okay.
I am looking at one of the most beautiful women on the planet. She has hair extensions. Oh my life. You look incredible.
I look different. Long hair, don't care is the vibe that I'm going with. Or full head of secrets.
Full head of secrets. You going to let us in on some of those?
Yes.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Honestly, I had the best weekend. Just relaxed, chilled. I'm so excited for this season, like this year. Got my hair did, feeling good. Just all of it is coming through. You know what? I just had one of those weekends where you're just like, I actually went to the tennis quite a bit, actually, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
No, my weekend was good. I mean, I had a really great weekend. I caught up with some friends. I caught up with a mate who is the head of World Pride. Went over to his incredible apartment, and they put him up in this most amazing building. It's like stunning. So went over there and caught up with some queer black mob, and went dancing, and it was super fun. But yeah, this episode we're going to be talking about World Pride, actually. What else are we going to talk about?
So we've got obviously World Pride coming up. I want to talk about going to the tennis because that's basically where I've been in the last week.
Yeah.
Talk about some dating experiences.
Ooh.
Yes.
She's on the dating train. Am I on the dating train? Ooh, wait till you find out later in the episode.
Okay, now who's the one with the secrets? Jesus Christ. And then obviously, let's talk about fucking manifestation. Let's talk about some witchy bitchy shit. Yeah.
Love
and then,
that.
So yeah, let's jump into it because I am ready for this episode.
Let's do it. So World Pride is obviously around the corner, and it feels like it is like gay Christmas. There is so much happening in the city. Like, there is hundreds of events. There's specific events for First Nations people, including like a First Nations gala dinner. There's a whole First Nations area designated to queer performers at Carriage Works this year for World Pride. It's going to be lit. But I feel like there's a lot of preparation that needs to go into it. And I feel like if I'm going to be dancing anywhere with my shirt off, that I have to be at the gym twice a day for the next 3 weeks. Every day, twice a day for the next 3 weeks, just so I can take my shirt off when I'm dancing. Because you know what? I'm a sweater. I'm a fucking sweater. And when I'm out at the clubs and I'm like breaking it down, and when I say I break it down, like you know me, I dance. Like, it's like I'm on So You Think You Can Dance, and like I don't want to get eliminated every time I'm on the dance floor. It's like, like, for real. I'm just Alba and Honey. Like, for real.
I have definitely been out dancing with you. We went out dancing the other week when we wrapped up the Jan 26 conversations. We went for a little boogie, and that was the best night. So
you were on the stage on the podium, and like literally people were coming up to you, and like it looked like you were at a meet and greet. It was like people were coming up and doing a little dance and then walking off. They had their 5 seconds with Brooke Blurton. And then I tried to take you down. I was like, I'm going to go outside for a breather because obviously it was sweaty. You're like, nah, I'm staying up here.
See, the only time I actually feel comfortable dancing is when I've definitely had like a few tequila shots. I've always talked about this. Remember, I've talked about on the other episodes is that I am the most uncoordinated person dancing if I'm sober. And so it takes me a little bit of like liquid courage to actually like feel comfortable, and then once I'm comfortable there is no stopping me. But I've never actually ever seen myself dance. Do you know that?
I have. I've seen you dance. Trust me. You're doing the TikTok ones like this. Look.
Don't.
No. But you know what's funny about when we go out together? It's always like one of us looking at the other person and hyping them up. So it's either me hyping you up on a dance floor or you looking at me and hyping me up, being like my hype girl. But then there was this, okay, so remember we were dancing and you were up on the podium and I was sort of like on the ground. So my head was like basically your crutch level, like it was sort of like this. And then you were trying to like, you saw this really handsome guy and you were like trying to play Cupid with all these like cute boys with me. And I was like, no. And then one guy came up to me and he goes, you've been in my DMs. And I was like, no, I haven't. And then I looked at my DMs and he'd sent me 3 DMs. So I showed him the messages. I was like, I think you'll find you've been in my DMs.
This is what it's like going out with Matty. Like Matty, as soon as he walks in, and you were like so shame about taking your shirt off.
I know. I was like, I don't want to dance with my shirt off. And then
This is why World Pride Prep, right? We're going to
Yes.
get to a place with you where you just like don't give a shit. You just take your shirt off and you live your best life. And that's what World Pride is about, right? It's like, who cares? No one cares. No one is looking and judging. It's just like a free space for everyone to just like be accepted, love. And I'm actually so excited because obviously I've got a few jobs with World Pride.
Yeah.
But the other days I'm just going to have as much fun with my friends as possible. And I think that's what it's all about, right? Is just letting your long hair out.
Oh, speaking of long hair, tell me about this decision because it does really suit you. I haven't seen your hair this long ever.
No, it hasn't been this long. This is the longest I've had. It's like literally down to my bum. Do you remember when we were talking at, I would say Pocahontas.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Do you remember when I was saying that I wanted to shave it off and then I've gone the complete opposite? I've literally gone the opposite. But
well, I think what you needed was change and that's what you got.
I think I was craving it. It's like that post-breakup kind of feels where you like change your hair color, but we're like long gone past the breakup stage. But I just felt like, you know what? I needed this new identity.
Yeah, babe. When I first like broke up with my ex, like when we had our break in our relationship, I went and cut my hair and dyed my hair platinum blonde. It's almost like the rite of passage for like a gay breakup. Every gay guy who breaks up with like their partner goes and like thinks that their platinum blonde hair is gonna save them. It's like you just look like you've broken up with your boyfriend because everyone now knows. Are they tied in? How do extensions work? Talk me through it.
Oh, I don't want to bore you with the details. It's just.
I mean, what I'm trying to get at is if someone pulls your hair,
they'll be pulling my head. Yes.
Yeah, they're going to be
pulling my head. Yes.
Yeah, because you don't want to be getting freaky in the sheets and then they pull a piece of hair out.
The day that I got my hair cut, it was the week of the Australian Open. And so I went to the tennis with some friends. I went and saw Thelma Plum and
love her.
Saw Conrad, saw a couple of my other friends.
Because Thelma and Conrad are together, aren't they? They've been together for a little while.
Yes.
Cute.
And you know what? I'm actually so fucking happy for them. Like they look so in love and it's so disgustingly cute. And you know what? It's kind of nice that Conrad and I connect now. Like, we see each other out. We can like hug and say hello and hang out without it being like super awkward.
Yes.
Which is how I kind of originally wanted, but then when all that shit went down. But that was so 2021. So we've moved on from that.
It's in the past, girl.
It's in the past. But when I was at the tennis, I was hanging out with a couple of mob there and we were all yarning about how, it's so nice to hang out with mob at the tennis, but you never see it. Like, I feel like, sorry, but like this might be a huge generalization, but I feel like the tennis is very white.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Pride round at the tennis when I went, and that was really awesome to, hang out with so many queer people and, catching up with good friends and stuff like that. But at the same time.
And Vanessa Emma Rossi performed.
That was lit.
Oh.
That was lit. That reminds me of my year 12 graduation. Absolutely everybody. Anyway, so yeah, it was Pride round at the tennis. But then I was like, where's all the mob? Like, honestly, obviously we've got some like leading, First Nations tennis players like Ash Beattie and like, legends like Yvonne Cooley, like, you know, these people are phenomenal athletes and First Nations people. But I just, like, I don't know, do we have some upcoming black tennis mob?
Yeah, well, they had this year, they had a whole day. It was called First Nations Day, where Ash Barty invited young kids, young blackfellas from all around the country to come and have a hit with her on court at the Australian Open. So they had a whole day designated to up and coming, tennis enthusiasts or people who wanted to, blackfellas who wanted to be a tennis player. So, and they flew them all in. So like they do have, like, I know that they have programs that Ash is involved in terms of Tennis Australia, but in terms of like the actual audience and like the people who get to go and watch the tennis, I don't see a lot of blackfellas go. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of interest there.
I mean, I think it's a really expensive sport.
Yeah.
And unless you're being really sponsored and being looked after, I think it's a pretty hard sport to sustain, like at a financial level.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is what makes me think. I'm like, mob, like, you know, we're like natural athletes, I would say. Like, you know, majority of us have come from like a footy or basketball, netball, swimming background, you know. But tennis is just one sport I don't see a lot of mob representing. And like, I feel like, you know, we've got those legends, but I just want to see more, and I want to see more mob going to the tennis. Like, I want to see more black representation on a broader scale, because we know that we're natural athletes. We know we've got it. We've got what it takes, and I just want to see more programs. And I feel like I am seeing such a shift in black sport. I'm just going to call it black sport because I'm just talking about on a black excellence level. You know, I might give tennis a go. Let's go.
Oh, go on.
Let's
then.
do it. I actually met when I was at the Pride round, I got a photo with you know Prince Wilkins, you know Christian Wilkins?
Yep.
Yeah. I was there at the tennis with him, we were having a good yarn, and then this tennis player called Alex was there and we got a photo together, and I was like, are you mob? And he wasn't mob. Anyways, got a crush on him. He's pretty cute.
Oh. Have you did you get any like digits, or did you have you been talking at all?
Babe, I've told you my hair's full of secrets. I'm not releasing them just yet.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But anyways, back to Pride Round and Sydney World Pride. I know that you have got quite a bit of stuff on because you're one of the World Pride ambassadors.
Yeah. So I'm part of the World Pride squad. You know how like Taylor Swift had her model squad? That's basically me.
You know what? Pride. And you know how I knew this is because I was going on the World Pride to buy my tickets for some of the events, and you were like
the face opening.
Of it. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we did a photo shoot back in the day, like last year. For a group of us, we were like the ambassadors for World Pride. But I'm really excited for like the First Nations programming, and Benny Gratz, who is also one of the head creative directors of Sydney World Pride, and also drag queen Miscellaneous, who actually was pivotal in us meeting because he invited us to Miss First Nation where we met.
Literally. I know. And we might be repeating that this year, fingers crossed.
Yes, so this year there's another Miss First Nation round. It's called Supreme Queen round, and it's all the winners and runners-up who have competed in the competition throughout the years, and they're all coming together to compete for Sydney World Pride Miss First Nations title, and we get to host the national costume round, which is going to be epic. So like it's full circle moment for us because that's where we met, and now we're going back to that space where we get to work together on it. I'm super excited for it. I love all the queens that are competing. I do have my favourites, but I'm not going to say who they are because, you know,
that's bias.
They'll be chucking their high heels at me when they see me in the street.
They will be. So there's lots of events happening at Sydney World Pride. So if you haven't got your tickets, obviously mob Mob have special tickets.
Yes,
So,
yes, mob ticks. So you get a discount if you're a First Nations person. There has been an allocation of tickets that have been put aside for First Nations people who are part of the community, but also allies. And this was specifically designed for people who might be from rural and remote communities as well, who come to Sydney, and it's a massive expense to get here. And then they also then have to fork out for all of the events because there's not a lot. There is a lot of free stuff, but if you wanted to go to some of the bigger events, you would have to then pay for a ticket. So there's a massive discount, and you can find that at sydneyworldpride.com/mobticks-application. There's just a few questions in there that you just need to fill out just to make sure you're not gammon, Don't go claiming our tickets.
I love that. It's just, getting, especially like, catering to those mob that live out in those areas, like sometimes it's just so difficult and hard to, come into events like this, and they sort of miss out.
But what are you going to do for World Pride Prep? Are you, like, for me, it's all about feeling good, like, in myself. So I'm confident in the jobs that I do and also the dance floors that I conquer.
These dance floors.
Are you going to be on the gay train for the festival?
Well, I mean, I'm back dating, so like I'll be on the prowl for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're asking me?
You know what's the difference between Mardi Gras and World Pride is that people from all over the world come. So it's like it's a massive international opportunity to secure.
We're going international. We're becoming international divas,
international
baby.
divas, Mr. Worldwide.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, why would you? I'm not missing out on this opportunity. Obviously, I love Mardi Gras, but this year, like, I'm not working Mardi Gras at all.
Mm-hmm.
I am going just with friends and having the best time. And that's what also, like, World Pride is about. I feel like also, I just want to meet people. Like, if I meet people,
yes,
I just want to meet as many people in that couple of weeks as I can, because you just never know who you know, when you can meet, like, how you meet them, where the relationship can go, like.
Well,
et cetera,
that's where I met. That's where I met my ex, and we lasted a good 6 years. So
good
it's
6
worth
years
it.
it was. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
New chapters. Speaking of new chapters, back on the dating train for me. I feel like it was a quick shift. It was first and straight into second. Like,
Yep. Well, we're in the second month of the year, so it's timely.
Well, that's it. And I feel like last year I did commit not to dating, for the whole year, and then towards the end I kind of fell in love with my best friend, and that didn't end so well, and that's okay because I felt like I moved out of it pretty quickly. And then no disrespect to him or to them in that way. It's just more like I felt like I'm ready to just date. I'm dating myself, so I'm being my own boyfriend, and I feel like I'm still committed to this, just, being by myself for a while. But I just feel like I've got, I want to go on dates and meet people, even if it's just friendships. Fuck yeah. Like, why would you not? So I have a question to you, right?
Yep.
Because, like, I'm on a few dating apps, and, I keep getting blocked on Hinge because people keep reporting my profile.
Oh, because they think it's a fake.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, how do you fix that?
You can't. Like, I'm getting verified on Hinge, but, like, it's so fucking stupid. And the thing is, on Hinge, there's an option of sending a like or sending a rose.
Oh, fucking hell, the rose.
And every time I go on Hinge, I get, like, a ton of roses. And I'm like...
Triggering.
It is. It's like, fuck off.
Cancel. Bye.
Piss off.
I've never done Hinge. I haven't really ever done Tinder either. So I don't know the swipey games, like left and right. Like, I know that you just go on and you swipe, but...
Yeah, left is usually not keen, right is like, I'm interested.
And then once you swipe, what happens?
Well, you just... They can like you. You can... See, Hinge is a bit different. Hinge is a bit, like, more ruthless. Like, you just get, like, a ton of likes and you just go through them and you're like, nah. And I'm so ruthless about it. If they haven't got me in, like, the first 2 photos, I am just like, nope, And I don't know if that's just because I'm fucking shallow as shit, but this is what I mean, right?
Yep.
It's a new year and it's a new me. And I feel like I want to date someone who is really nice. And I want to date someone who's got a really nice personality over their attractiveness.
Okay, so, yeah, that's more important to you.
I want to stop being a shallow bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, attraction. When you're talking to someone, do you normally start talking to them because of the physical attraction, and then you find out that obviously through their personality whether their personality is attractive or not? So if they're not attractive, are you still going to give it a shot?
I've dated personally on the spectrum with women, men, non-binary people. I've dated from like one scale to the other on attractiveness, and I've probably also dated on the spectrum of personality. I've dated like a really shy, like really introverted person who isn't very open, quite vulnerable, to like the extroverted, like party crazy person that's like the life of the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I personally can say that I have given, I think, it a hot crack at different types of people. And what I've learnt about myself is that I found that if I go for the physical attractiveness of a person and they're like, you know, the life of the party, that's all well and good at the start of the relationship, but it dies off pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it's very lustful at the start, and I find that it just, like, it gets to a point where it's like you get sick of it. I get bored easily.
Yeah.
Whereas if I find that, you know, it takes a while to get to know someone and they're quite vulnerable at the start and they're like, it's a slow burn and they're like, you know, maybe they're not as attractive as what you would go for originally, and then you open that door and then the more you get to know them, I feel like sometimes the personality overrides their attractiveness, and then their personality makes them attractive.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so what about the opposite to that? So if, say, I'm going to put a scenario out there. If I was dating someone who is really hot, like super hot, a massive catch, like a head turner, and your fear of dating them is because it's in my head, it's like the analogy of touching the hot stove. If you touch it, you're going to get burnt because they're so hot that everyone else wants them, and you're going to be the guy in the relationship.
That's me. I'm the problematic one.
Yeah. Okay.
People think because I have a profile, I was a bachelorette, that is me. I am the fucking hot stove. But I'm like not the hot stove, because underneath the mechanics of the stove, she's tender.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay. So you're dating a hot stove. Yeah. Okay, got it.
I
not
mean,
you, but like, you know.
Not me. I'm having, I'm giving a scenario. So if the person but then you're like, oh, okay, you realize that you have a connection, and then you start to like slowly get to know them. So you're moving slowly closer to the stove. At some point, do you become used to the heat and trust that it won't burn you? If I'm going to date someone who is like somebody who everyone wants, I just don't know if I could do it.
Do you want them because everyone wants them, or do you like you see something that like do you see the bigger picture? Like that's what I would wonder.
I see all the trouble first. I see all the issues. I'm like, no, don't even go there. Like I'm like, it's not worth it. Like I don't want the trouble. I don't want the noise surrounding that situation. So I'm like very much like.
Then that's your answer. That's the answer to that someone for me. Like if I like, there's too much to it. Like, nah. We're going for a more simple life. We're going for things that we enjoy, feel happy with. Like if you're already questioning the relationship from the start, I feel like that is a sign to be like, nah. Like that's what I'm going into things like if I go on a date, right? Like what's important to me when I date someone? Like, yeah, looks are fucking great. Like if you look at them, they're physically attractive, wondrous. Like you're going to have a sexual attraction.
Yeah.
But like long term, like looks fade. Personality doesn't.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, right? Like I personally, I'm not going to be this fucking hot my whole life, but she will because she has the skin of a baby born.
Black don't crack. The skin of a baby born?
I mean, like, I'm not going to always look, this hot, and I've got to sometimes.
I'm not always going to look this hot.
No,
You are hot.
What I'm
Look
trying
at
to
you.
say, bitch. What I'm trying to say, bitch. I know that I am not a fucking supermodel, but I know that I'm also not the ugliest. Like, I'm okay to look at now and then. She's got a bit of morning breath in the morning, but that's okay. Everyone does.
Oh, girl, I'm going to sip my coffee.
You can't be perfect. And so I realize, like, when I date someone, that looks are just going to fade, and I have to realize it about myself, and I've also got to realize that my potential partner isn't always going to look the same, and will I accept them when they're bold or when they're...
You were going to be bald a couple of weeks ago, babe.
And that's what I mean. I was ready to accept myself like that, and like if anyone was going to come into my circle, they were going to accept me like that. It's about acceptance, bitch.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So dating, like for me, it's obviously like if I'm going to start dating someone, I don't want all the noise. I don't want all the chaos that comes with like, I just don't want the emotional turmoil. That's what I don't want. I wish that I could just date someone, have them in my life, not really feel that deeply for them, but like have them around and do fun things. But like, yeah, I don't want to like feel so deeply for someone that I'm starting to like think too much about them.
Okay, so then when you meet someone, and however you meet, whether that's a dating app, whether that's out with friends or, through work, whatever, for what reason, what do you look for in the first, like, initial date?
Conversation is like up there. So if I can have a meaningful conversation instead of talking about the fluff and the surface level stuff of like weather, food, what you got up to today. If we can get to like the nitty gritty of a topic or like even if it's like as random as like discussing technology, but then you get to like a deep level of unpacking that and you're going back and forth having like a really intellectual conversation about some topic. I love that because you're invested and like you're saying something and they're thinking and then you're getting their response. It's like, to me, that's attractive, that sort of deep level conversation. So if I could have like a deep and meaningfuls with the person, I think that's like right up there. But also I'm a little bit shallow and I need to like look at them and be like interested in looking at them. Like they need to be attractive.
Yes.
But not like in a shallow way where it's like if I met someone who I didn't find immediately attractive and then had a great conversation with them, I would still probably pursue them because I feel like their attractiveness on the outside would grow on me.
See, I felt the exact same. But do you remember last season when I went for the guy that was not so attractive, a bit boring? Do you remember?
The homeless man in Cairns? No.
The homeless man in Cairns, and he was engaged, and he catfished the fuck out of me. See?
Yeah.
So I've been burnt by the hot stove. I went for the nice guy and just not the physically attractive or the most like, the most personality. That's what I mean. I feel like I have dated on the spectrum, and every time I go on a date or however, I meet someone and it doesn't work out, I learn something so much more about myself, and I learn so much about what I want and what I don't want. And I think I'm just getting more confidence. Like I actually have no shame with making the first move.
Yep.
Like I'm okay with just, being like, I've gone on a date with a guy and being like, look, I feel like in my head, this, like, I don't want, this is not my forever partner, but I wouldn't mind just like sleeping with him, and then being like, hey, do you want to come home with me?
Yeah.
And, you have a bit of fun. It's great. You get both what you want, and then you say, hey, look, like, so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Take care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're getting what you want and you're living on your terms, you're living your authentic life. Like, fuck it. Who cares?
In saying that fuck it attitude, I think I need to take some of that on because I really feel like I'm at this point where it's like I'm a little bit cautious about dating someone because not that I'm like that open to it right now, but if I was, I feel like really bad for it to ever sort of be out there. I don't want it to be something that is public because I feel like it would hurt my ex. And that's like a major barrier to me dating someone, is actually thinking about what my ex would think.
I mean, I truly feel probably the exact same, especially because my ex literally lives like 5 minutes from my house. Like if I'm on a walk with another guy, like literally from my house to the park, and my ex sees me, like, yeah, it's not going to be a nice feeling. But it's a matter of like, you got to live your life, babe. You're not living someone else's life.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't hurt people's feelings, but it's just like you are respectful. I get that. You have integrity to yourself and you have integrity to other people. But at the same time, it's like even when like my public relationship broke down post The Bachelorette, it felt like I had to be integral to my followers and be like, give them a reason or give them every part of information about the breakup. I don't owe people shit, and I don't feel like I need to live my life like that. Not everyone's telling me about every single thing that they're doing, so why do I feel like I need to do that just because I live a public profile? And that's not the case. And I mean, that's not how I'm going to live my life from now on. And I'm not going into 2023 thinking, oh my God, I need to update on every single person on everything. The reason why we have a podcast is so we can speak freely about it. And I love that I can share this with our little community. But if you're not a part of the community, I don't owe you shit. Anyway, so back to making the first move, right? So can I talk from an experience that I've had recently is that I've been going on a date with someone and a few times, and it's, you know, normally I'm like, okay to take the first move, but I've actually in this instance felt really, really fucking nervous. And I've felt, oh my God, this is not Brooke behavior. Like, what is going on? Like normally, okay, we wrote in the notes, like, are you the aggressor? Now, I feel like that's aggressive in its sense, but I normally am the most aggressive person when it comes to like taking, like, I mean, going for what I want. Like, I'm just like such a true Capricorn. I'm like, nah, I'm going for it. And if it doesn't work out, that's on me. I gave it my best shot. But I also do like to be chased. And I don't know if I'm like, just like feeling nervous is because, I don't know, I just like want to hold out or like hold back a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think in terms of making the first move, it just depends. Like for me, I'm a bit out of play with that, like, to be honest. And I don't know if like I'd be comfortable like really making the first move. But I feel like if there's a natural progression instead of just like a hard hitting first move, that would be like what do you mean? Why are you laughing at me? Like,
we both fall in love easily. It
Yes.
is no lie that we both love so much that we like love the comfort of someone there, and we do love that. But we also love our independence. Like, it's not like we're codependent.
Yeah.
It's so weird. We are naturally the most independent people, but when it comes to like love and relationships and feeling like a romantic connection with someone, sometimes I feel like I can move definitely very progressively and very quickly.
Well, the thing is, I'm definitely not like in the space, I feel, to be more interested. I'm more interested in like emotional connection in terms of like, or like intimacy in terms of like cuddling and comfort than I am in sex right now. Like, I don't feel
That's
very sexual. I
totally
feel more like,
fine.
let's cuddle and watch a film and eat ice cream instead of being like, let's fuck.
I mean, you have to do it, get it out of your system, I feel like, post a breakup. And then once you're over that hill, I feel like you're just more relaxed in yourself. And you're like, I actually just want to like bond with people. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you're an anomaly for me as well in some ways, because we're so the same and so similar, but we're actually so different in a way as well. Like, I feel like you could be pretty ruthless in when you want to be, but I'm way more fucking ruthless than you. Like,
I'm a bit more measured when it comes to like relationships. Yeah,
and I'm a bit more like cutthroat. Like, if it's not working and I don't feel it, I'll just say to them, not feeling it. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you think I should start dating? Do you think I should just?
I don't know, listeners. What do we think?
I could get a companion dog instead.
Or you could just get a fucking Tamagotchi, babe. They'd probably do the same thing.
A fucking Furby. I don't know. We'll soon see. We'll figure it out.
I have a few New Year's, resolutions that I'd like to do before I even think about moving into something a bit more deeper, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go international. I want to travel by myself. I want to, do tick off a few jobs of my,
Travel by yourself. That's one of my goals this year. How are we going to travel by ourselves in different time zones doing the podcast? Chae's going to kill us. He's going to be like, why are you in fucking Berlin and you're in New Zealand?
I just love him.
We do. All right, witchy bitchy shit.
Talking about our intentions, obviously we spoke about this on probably the first episode, and we're moving into the year. We're getting closer to fucking Valentine's Day, and all this love shit's happening. But I actually don't want to talk about love shit. I want to talk about manifestation and other shit that's happening in our lives, right?
Right.
And what the fuck is manifestation? What is it?
Oh, well, it's a calling to the universe to give you what you want.
Yeah.
I'll just give you an example of manifestation. So I went in the middle of a storm into a cave, sat on a blanket with some fairy lights, wrote down some intentions, and then burnt them with some friends while there was a lightning storm happening across the ocean in front of us. And everything that I wrote down on that piece of paper and we burnt, this was 3 years ago, has come true. Every single thing.
Yeah.
I'm a witch.
I'm a witchy bitchy bitch. And I recently, over the Christmas break, actually my best friend and I walked into a little crystal shop and we got a reading.
Okay.
And this lady, she was obviously a psychic medium. She did the reading for us. So we just randomly walked in, no appointment, booked it, came back in 45 minutes, did both a reading for half an hour.
Mm.
Now, this lady had no idea who the fuck I was. I didn't even really look like me in a way. We just walked in. So she hadn't had time to do her research. So I was like, okay, I trust this bitch. She's not going to. And so I did mine second after Courtney. And so Courtney and I literally are like soulmates. We're the same as you and I. Basically, we say the same shit. We have similar lived experience, but have lived opposite lives.
Yeah.
And so she did her reading. And weirdly enough, I actually pulled similar cards to Courtney. And I shuffled them a fuck ton times. So the reading is that she holds your hand. She has a spirit guide, and her spirit guide was actually a drunk monk.
Okay.
So that was interesting. And the first thing
did you think when she said that, did you think this lady's crazy and I should exit stage left? Because I would have been like, thanks for your time. I'm out.
You're welcome.
You're
and
welcome.
Then
Namaste. Bye.
I mean, I was taken back, right? I was taken a little bit back, but I was like, let's just go with the flow. And that's kind of what the headspace I was in.
Do monks drink?
No. Monks commit to a life of solitude. They pray every day. They don't speak.
That's right.
Yeah. And her spirit guide was a drunk monk. I know this story is so whack, right? But the first thing she says to me when I sit down is she doesn't even explain how the reading goes. She literally sits me down. She goes, "You're a witch, bitch. You're a witchy bitch."
What?
And that's why I was like, I know this because I have the
I'm
strongest.
Aware. You're a wizard, Harry. She's like, you're off to Hogwarts. You're off to Hogwarts, doll.
Here's your ticket, babe. Head to, what is it? 8 3/4.
Yeah, 9 3/4.
9 3/4.
Next minute, you got your trolley walking through the wall. No, but okay. So, what did she mean by you're a witch bitch?
Okay, I asked her and I said, "What do you mean?" Because I played dumb to it because I knew exactly where it was going. And she said, "You have intuition."
Intuition.
Yeah, yeah. And she says, "You
don't we all?"
No, I
think we are.
You didn't even let me finish, you dumb dog.
You dumb dog. Yeah, go on then.
I have wombat wisdom.
Wombat wisdom. And my new book, Wombat Wisdom. No, okay. Witchy Bitchy is a good book title, by the way. Patent that. Anyway, keep going.
So she goes, you have intuition. And she said, what I mean by this is you were gifted the ability to, you're a witch. Like you can get what you want. Fuck off.
Sorry, Mrs. McGonagall.
I'm done.
No, okay. I get it. You have the power to be able to manifest, like, strongly. And that's what she's trying to say, right?
Yes.
But she uses these mythological characters to, like...
No, so her spirit guide is just a drunk monk. So the person that connects her in the afterlife is just a drunk monk. And he's hilarious. And it was all a bit weird, but I was actually in that mindset of, like, just going with it. And you know what? When I thought about the things that I experienced last year and what I've been able to predict, I was like, maybe this bitch was right. I was thinking, because I was thinking back to the reading and just like she said so much, she said so many things that I was like, okay, yeah, like it was kind of like pull your head out of your ass and actually, you know, and she said things like don't say you're going to do things unless they're done because people won't look out for you and you've got to look out for yourself. And this is kind of how I was feeling. I was feeling like last year a lot of people just took advantage of me, of my spirit, my my heart, and I'm like, you know, as much as I am closed off, I'm still open-minded about a lot of things, but I'm being a little bit more protective. And I think this is what's on the cards for this year, right? Is manifestation is a fucking special power, and I think everyone has it. Everyone has intuition.
Yep.
Bitch. And I think everyone has the ability to have a manifestation power that is so strong that you can get what you want out of this year.
Well, my question is, does everyone have a drunk monk? Does everyone have a spirit guide?
I reckon everyone has a spirit guide. No, I don't think there'll be a drunk monk per se.
For everyone.
But it is so fucking weird because at that same period of time, right, I was getting super drunk over the Christmas period. Like I was like having, you know, I was having the best time. So obviously like that was who I brought forward, was like meeting me on my level. But at the same time, I was having a fucking huge crush on a guy who used to be a monk.
Oh, fuck. There you go. Okay, I get it now. It's all made sense. It's the contradiction of the two worlds you want.
Maybe that's what I was pulling through.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, as people can be super skeptical, super cynical. I actually am the queen of cynicism. Like I do not believe that everyone comes with good intentions.
Yeah.
And I can in the first 5 minutes of having a conversation, I can tell whether a person is a good person.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And you know that.
Yeah.
If you have that intuition and you feel something in your waters or in your heart and your like soul that something is just not quite right, like trust that feeling. Like go with that first initial feeling.
Yes. It doesn't just come in terms of like human connection either. Like if you, like for instance, so I had a feeling, right, when I was holidaying earlier this year, when I was snorkeling in the ocean by myself, I kept on thinking about bull sharks. It was this thing that was it was my intuition. So it was my spirit like warning me about bull sharks. Anyway, I was like snorkeling by myself. I was looking around, making sure there was no sharks near me. I get out of the water. I go home to my friend's house and her sister says to me, I was just down at the beach and I saw 2 bull sharks.
You're kidding.
No. And I was like, see, my intuition, my spirit was warning me, being like, just watch out. There are bull sharks around.
And some people might say that it's coincidental. It's fucking intuition, babe.
Yeah, I'm a fucking wizard. Duh.
And I'm a fucking witch. Anyways, we should probably end on that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for listening to Not So PG. If you love us, leave a 5-star rating, slide into the DMs. Maddie's handle is at It's Maddie Mills. My handle is obviously Brooke.Blurton, and you can follow all the Nova Podcast action over at Nova Podcast Official. Okay, bye.
Bye.